Hi. So there's an article that came out, and we covered it last week on RNH, but I wanted to actually give it a bit more thought and kind of talk about it here because there's a push that seems to be happening, or it seems to be the makings of a narrative that people are going to try to use to put out there and try to make gamers and developers move in a certain way. And that's how I feel about this particular subject. I thought it was a really bad idea, and I think there's a lot of issues that I have with the logic and reasoning in this particular article. But once I actually had a moment to read through the Mojogami commentary, and someone brought up the idea of digital hoarding, I knew that I had to come back to this article and pretty much expand on it because, yeah, I can see digital hoarding become a tagline or something somebody's going to try to push on other people. Actually, this reminds me of the digital games versus physical game media, and when people were talking about how we should get rid of our physical media and go ahead and sell our physical games and just only get digital libraries, because one, the prices of digital games will only go down in price over time, which that was a lie. And games, your discs are going to suffer from disk rot, and that's only something that happens in extreme cases. If I were to leave all my video games in a shed out in the backyard in extreme weather conditions. If you actually collect games, you understand that keeping your games indoors in room temperature is probably the best thing for them, because that will actually keep them alive for a lot longer. But that whole argument of we should get rid of our physical games and just get a whole bunch of digital games and forget about it. That was a push to try to get more people on board with digital games. I feel like that was also a push to get people to sell their games to secondhand markets so they can inflate the prices. So I feel like this and the whole talking point of digital hoarding and backlogs being a terrible idea or whatever you want, I feel like that's going to be used to try to push people into the idea of getting locked into streaming services like Game Pass. So you can basically dump all of your money into a subscription, on a monthly subscription. So you could just treat that like a gym membership where you could forget about it, and you're wondering one day when you look through your bank account, like, why am I getting $60 siphoned out of my account for something I am not using? Oh wait, I had a Game Pass account that I didn't realize, whatever. They want you to do stuff like this, and this kind of, when they show off that whole thing where Game Pass is making like $1.5 billion this last year. That's in subscription fees. That's the gym membership like business model. It's the, you can set it and forget it, and we're just gonna keep taking the money out of your account repeatedly until you realize that you're not really using it to its full potential, or you are just basically just getting fleeced over a long period of time. I feel like that's kind of what's going on and what people are trying to push towards. But enough of that. Let's actually get into this article. Now, Valve cracked the problem that Netflix was struggling with using diehard gamers and their backlogs, Steam expert says. You'll get access to a bunch of drunken sailors who spend money irresponsibly. Hobbyists buy stuff not because they actually want to consume it, but because they're collecting it. So I don't stream games occasionally because I want to get through that backlog. I'm only collecting things because I'm a digital hoarder, and I'm just hoarding things, and I have a problem because you automatically know what every gamer in America, or any other country for that matter, you automatically know their hearts and minds and what their plans are. Excuse me for having a full-time job and a mortgage to pay. Having two children that I'm chasing around occasionally when I'm upstairs and trying to be a good father and take them out places and have them enjoy the summer. Excuse me. Oh, Jesus. It's not that. It's not that people actually have lives and actually want to do things. It's you're just a digital hoarder. You're a waste of space, and you should be spending that money where it needs to be, which is getting a subscription to a digital library of games that the games that you're interested in rotate in and out on a 3-month basis. Come on, fam. The power of Steam as a platform is that it enables hoarding, reckons Steam expert and gaming marketing analyst Chris Zurkowski, arguing that Valve cracked the problem that Netflix was struggling with by tapping into the hardcore gamers who love a fat backlog. Most people who buy your game won't play it, Zurkowski argues in a blog post. I surmise that he is talking to indie gamers, and he's trying to basically lure indie gamers into this idea that, they're only buying this game to collect it. They're not buying it because they're interested in it. Not understanding that if I purchase your game, I'm interested in it to the fact that I actually want to see you succeed. If I were to, and usually, this is the whole argument I have, to where I'm half in, half out on the whole piracy thing. I think there's ethical piracy, and then I think there's piracy that's sabotaging. It's self-sabotaging in a way. The ethical piracy, and this is kind of something I was going to talk about when I was going to cover the whole Notch thing when he was talking about if I don't own anything, then piracy is not theft. I agree in certain cases, especially with the whole Papyrum situation, where you have a game that was kickstarted, you made a ton of money off of it, and it just turned into vaporware. So if you're going to make a ton of money off of something in a Kickstarter and not produce that product, if somebody dumps that game and puts it out there, especially if it's vaporware at this point, if somebody dumps that game and puts it out on RetroArch, pretty much like what happened with Papyrum, then I think that's ethical piracy. I think there's a product that wasn't delivered and the product actually does exist, but the person has no intentions of putting it out there. Yeah, make it available to the people. That's ethical. But when it comes to people pirating game consoles that are live, like say the Nintendo Switch piracy or the Nintendo Switch 2 piracy stuff, if you support games, or if you say you care about video games and you want to support these games, but you're only bragging about pirating these games because you can, not because you're really interested in that, I kind of have to question your gamer card. I really feel like you're sabotaging yourself and you're creating the industry that we have right now. Because when you do things like this is kind of what leads to the problems that we have. So that's my thoughts on that. But again, going back to this in particular, this guy is trying to create a narrative that he wants indie gamers or potential gaming companies to follow. This is what analysts do. Analysts get a bunch of data and they basically go through the data and find the points of interest. And then they try to create or craft a narrative around that. Michael Pachter did that a lot. This is why Michael Pachter kept trying to push the whole Wii HD thing, which led us to the creation of the Wii U, which was a terrible move for Nintendo. But it did have a whole bunch of games that were really awesome. And those games wound up finding a new life on the Nintendo Switch. So at least you got that going for you. But yeah, it feels like any analyst that comes in and writes these types of things, they usually have agendas. Like Matt Piscatella basically saying that 50% of gamers are female, not understanding that Switches have multiple owners, because it went off of the Nintendo Switch data. Switches have multiple owners, and some of those females, quote unquote, were males at one point. So trying to take a bunch of data and create a narrative surrounding it that led back to him as the person posting it, which that was cute, by the way. I put out this information, and where's the link that goes back to this source data? Oh, that goes back to a tweet thread that I made about a week ago. Like that came up, and I think Bloodia and HP Lovecraft's Cat and I had a full conversation about that and just how just slimy that seems for analysts to do that. It shows you that even analysts have agendas. So most people who buy your game won't play it, Xxspiracy argues in a blog post, and that ratio may only skew higher for games that appear in bundles such as Humble Bundle. He touches on the attention economy that all entertainment faces nowadays, pointing to Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings saying that the streaming platform is competing with other entertainment services, video games, and even sleep. This is the type of stuff that Don Matrick was talking about in the Xbox One days. This led the Xbox down the path of the problems that they're facing right now, by the way. And even Nintendo kind of talked about this, where they're in a competition for the living room. But Nintendo decided that they're going to make a bunch of first-party games and try to make compelling experiences for gamers. Xbox went in the direction of we're just going to have you can watch soccer games and stuff, and you might want to play Forza on the Xbox One, but you can watch cable and all this other stuff on there. And it just kind of felt like a bad move. And Xbox has kind of been in this weird rut ever since. So that's the correlation with Netflix. Netflix is looking at the whole situation where, like, yeah, people are playing video games, people are sleeping, people are living their lives or whatever. So how do we get people to spend money on this service? And during none of that did they consider, like, oh, maybe you should up the quality of your service or whatever. Stop nickel and diming people off of subscriptions. Stop making a bunch of crappy, like, live action anime shows. Give people the opportunity to, like, watch more things that they're interested in instead of trying to make these original programming that falls short just about every time. Don't listen to what I have to say. I'm just an old man on the internet. Let me go live my life here. Now you're reading these quotes, developing your game, hoping that they will sell well, and that you might fear that Netflix, Fortnite, and sleep are all competing for a person's time. How are you, tiny indie, possibly going to steal an hour away from these giants? I can tell you how. Don't worry about any of this other shit. Make a decent game. If you're making a game in any specific genre, cater to the core demographic of that genre. Cater to your niche. That's all you have to do. If you're that passionate about it, you'll definitely see results or positive results on this. See, when people say stuff like this is kind of fear-mongering. It really pisses me off. The reason Steam makes so much money compared to all the other platforms is that Valve has built up an audience that's full of super diehard hobbyists who aren't necessarily competing in that attention economy because they don't actually have to play the games they buy. Xxspiracy reasons. He reasons this. This is your analyst here. Maybe it's perhaps the fact that it's a one-time purchase, and once I purchase that thing, it sits in my library until I'm ready to play it. The convenience of having something, and it's the same convenience of going to a brick and mortar store and actually buying that thing, buying a physical game and bringing it home. I can play that game on my console. Now it can sit on my shelf until I have the opportunity to do so, but that's the right of a consumer. Once I purchase that thing, if it's a one-time purchase, then I have that thing and I can play it whenever I damn well want to. I don't have to sit there and FOMO out whenever something comes out or live under the gun to my head that is, you have 3 months to play this thing before it's cycled out of your streaming service. Perhaps the convenience of that is a lot more beneficial to me as a consumer than the actual having to be locked into a streaming service and be at the mercy of whatever draconian bullshit they want to throw on me that day. Hobbyists buy stuff not because they actually want to consume it, but because they are collecting it. Way to keep your finger on the pulse of the average gamer, my friend. He continues, he points to the famous pile of shame found in almost all hobbies, and perhaps especially on a platform like Steam where purchase is just a click away. Just as your eyes may be bigger than your stomach, your interest may eclipse the time that you can feasibly spend on them, but you can still spend money. Oh, okay. So he's looking at us with dollar signs. That's wild. Maybe I like to take days off or take like Saturdays because I have my weekends off. I like to just kind of take a Saturday off to the side and just look through my Steam account to find something that I want to play. And there's a reason why I actually do like streaming games. because that kind of helps me get through my backlog as well. It motivates me to want to get through my backlog, and it actually gets more people interested in those games to where if they want to purchase them, they can. That's more of a people helping other people thing. But these are things that I want to buy because I'm interested in, because the gameplay is actually really awesome, and I do want to get down to playing them at some point. That's why I want the games in my account. And the whole reason why I purchased them through Steam and not through Epic, which Epic does give out free games all the time, but I'm going to be real with you, the DRM and the other BS that Epic has makes them not interesting to me whatsoever. Or GOG is another place where I actually will mess with. I'll go to GOG before I go to Epic, honestly. But the reason why I mess with Steam and GOG is because they actually have the types of games that I'm interested in. They actually have the genres that I'm interested in. I can get Stalker from there, which I did. I bought Stalker on Steam and also GOG. Now the Steam copy of Stalker, I want to say that didn't have mods. But GOG had that program now where they add mods and make those games playable even on modern hardware, which is something that takes the whole middleman out of me having to seek the mods that make the game work properly. So that's the bonus of GOG. That's the thing that makes me want to purchase that. Hobbyists buy stuff because they not actually want to consume it because they're collecting it. He points to the famous pile of shame found in almost all hobbies, and perhaps especially on platforms like Steam where purchases are just a click away. Yeah, so this guy is basically looking at people's backlogs and making assumptions off of it. And those assumptions might not be true. Those assumptions might actually have reasons to them. Those assumptions might actually be something entirely different than what you think. According to The Gamer, $1.9 billion in games have never been played due to people's backlogs. Now, the only reason why I feel like this ties into that too, because people are pretty much like running scrubbers across Steam and checking people's accounts and checking people's games and what they own and how many play hours do those games have, and trying to base something off of that. Oh goodness gracious! There's one of the people was like, you're a fraud because you don't have played through your backlog, like we don't have lives and shit. It's like, that's wild to me. It's like somebody just spending a lot of time on Twitter has the nerve to judge you about how you are spending your free time. So, PC Games Inc. wound up utilizing Steam ID Finder's database. According to the research, 10% of all Steam users' IDs are public. That amounts to 73 million gamers, which is no small number, and based off of that figure, PC Games Inc. was able to calculate that a combined 1.9 billion of games have been purchased and never played. That 1.9 billion is roughly 1.4 billion in euros. But yeah, according to one particular person, you're a fraud and a fake if you purchase these games, but you just didn't get the time to go play them. Like, how childish can you fucking be? Well, he's got a family. He's got a job. He's actually paying a mortgage. While some dude sitting in his mom's basement eating tendies is trying to judge you on whether you can find the time to play your games. Get the fuck out of my face. So, getting back to this. In 2024, Xxspiracy notes that Simon Careless found that over half the median Steam players' libraries are unplayed, and he's cautioned devs that a lot of people will buy a game but not play it. Xxspiracy admits 2/3 of his own library is unplayed, so he's basically making assumptions based off his own personal habits. This brings us back to time and attention. Valve cracked the problem that Netflix was struggling with. How do you sell to people who have so much entertainment at their fingertips that they don't have enough hours in a day to play and watch it all, Xxspiracy says. Valve basically added infinite hours to a gamer's day. It is theoretical future day where gamers might someday spend hours playing your game, but let's be honest, won't. The assumption here is that you'll never play those games. You'll never be motivated to play those games for whatever reason. And I don't like that, because you're making assumptions about people you have never met and people you've never had an opportunity to talk to. Xxspiracy's Steam Next Fest survey data found that the median game, most people only wishlist a game without even playing the demo. I played the demo, so that's wrong. The demo is free. If players are so interested in the game, why don't they play it? Why aren't you asking those players that question? You have a lot of questions for somebody that's not like going in and asking people individually. You could take a subsection of like say 100 players and all ask them that or survey them with that question, and you can get a bunch of answers and actually get that data, but you choose not to. You choose to like just get the raw data of like the numbers and just draw assumptions off of that, and I don't like that. I really don't like that. That's what you're saying. Make an article about it, of all things. If Steam shoppers were rational and only bought the games they were going to play, we would sell a lot of fewer games, he said. Half this industry would be gone. Knowing that Steam players are hoarders explains why you give them that 30%. You get access to a whole bunch of drunken sailors who spend their money irresponsibly. So it's irresponsible for me to make a one-time purchase for a game, actually have that game in my library and have it available when I can get to it. The irresponsible nature of making a one-time purchase of something, buying a physical game, making a one-time purchase of a physical game, putting it on my shelf, and I'll get to it when I get to it. That's irresponsible of me. I have a collection of games just off of that one premise. I have like 200 something NES games sitting over there, like in the corner over there. And a lot of those games I wind up buying from secondhand stores and other places, take them home, pop them in to see if they work, play them, fiddle around with them for like about maybe an hour or so, and then I'll like go move on to something else. That's irresponsible of me. It's irresponsible to have something and actually be able to hold on to that thing so I can play it when I want to. Now let's take the whole you don't own your games argument. Let's throw that off to the side. And let's actually look at that. Like if I can purchase something and actually have that thing and it's there when I want it, how is that irresponsible? It's like it's like buying groceries is irresponsible because you're buying a whole bunch of food that you're not going to eat in one sitting. How dare you do that? Not understanding that I have enough food in my fridge to where, like, say tomorrow or the next day, if I want a sandwich, I can just go upstairs and actually make that sandwich and eat it. Financially irresponsible because you bought something one time. You don't have to pay for it month to month. You don't have to actually like hope that it's still there when you log on to the online streaming service. Like I have to do with Amazon. Oh, there's a movie I want to watch on. I wonder if it's on Amazon. I go and look and it's not on Amazon. So I have to check Tubi and I have to check Pluto. I don't have Netflix anymore, but hypothetically, I'd have to go check Netflix. I got to go scour all these services just to find one flipping movie that I want to watch because I have a hankering to watch that one film. Which is funny because when I actually do watch movies, because I do have a sizable movie collection. When I go upstairs and I watch movies, I watched Richard Donner's Superman movie, the 1978 Superman film, upstairs last Friday because I wanted to show my son that film. Whenever I watch a movie down here or up there, the smart TV tries to remind me that, oh, you can watch this on streaming services. I don't want that. I bought this for a specific reason. I want the ability to be able to watch these things when I want to watch these things. Not roll the dice and play Russian roulette with freaking movies. And it's the same thing with games. I don't want to go onto a service to play a game. I want to buy the game, have the game available to me whenever I want it, and be able to play that thing. And that's important to me. That's not being like financially irresponsible. That's not being a hoarder or anything like that. I like having things, and I like having the ability to access those things whenever I want. And for somebody that collects physical games and physical movies, that is very important to me. And the fact that people want to call you names or call you a digital hoarder or call you financially irresponsible or whatever just shows that they are trying to push you into this all digital future where you'll own nothing and be happy. And to that, I tell you to kiss my black ass. Kiss the ashiest regions of my black ass. Anyways, I'm out of here. Thank you for joining for this. See you next boss fight. Take care. Dude, the nerve of these assholes.